Hello, everyone. I'm Rowdy Roddy Sniper, and with me is Xenocat in the booth, and we've got Alicel restreaming and Rieto pushing the buttons. Welcome to Highway to the Zemus Zone 6, the summer tournament for Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, the open world randomizer for Final Fantasy IV, and we have Game 3 between Fleury and JohnBirckhead. Both these runners are looking to go on to the round of 8, and they'll be doing so with bit of a twist on our standard summer flags. They'll have free heroes today, isn't that right, Xenocat?
Yes, our runners here will have access to their entire available set of characters from the beginning of the seed. Normally, on our regular ZC6 flags, they have to actually earn their characters by fighting. Since we turn the free character locations off, they have to fight a boss or use a key item to get their characters. This seed, we turned all those locations off, and they get 7 free characters, and that's it. If they don't like those characters, too bad. You gotta make a party of 5 out of them.
How does that affect your planning as you get started on a seed as well? Because some checks that have character opportunities to gain characters, they're not going to have that incentive. So how does that affect your approach?
I think mostly it means that I think we'll be seeing Watery Pass looting for sure, because there's a character check there. We'll be seeing our runners head to Damsian to launch the hovercraft relatively early. I expect a trip to Mysidia as well, maybe an early dip of Ordeals, although that's a little less popular, but it does definitely disincentivize things like Baron Inn, the Tower of Zot. Dwarfed Castle gets a lot worse. Burning Village Mist with the package is no longer a priority at all, even though it is one of our objectives. We're going to probably see our runners put that off till pretty much the last thing they can do, because there's no possible value behind it unless Demist is hiding back there.
Yes, and you can see at the bottom of the screen, we do have 8 objectives that our runners will have to complete 6 of in order to get the crystal, so they can use that to reveal Zeromus' true form at the end of the game. And we'll talk more about that later. These runners are off, so we'll see who is joining the starting Yang and what our starting item is.
We got Rydia as our second character. That does make Dwarf Castle a little more useful, because Rydia learns several summons and can learn Bahamut from Dwarf Castle. And we start with the Magma Key. Oh boy, we can get underground already.
That'll open up some access to better equipment, better items in shops and weapons, which with Yang and Rydia and their relative lack of firepower to start off with, is going to be a welcome use of some of that gear we loot.
Yeah, I would still say we probably see our runners heading for the characters on the Overworld, since they are still free, and knowing who you're shopping for, knowing who you're looting for is a very useful information. Immediate divergence as John heads to Watery Pass first. Fleury's headed to Damsian to go for this basement loot. There are characters in both locations, so neither is a bad play, although we do see just Edward here at Watery Pass.
Yeah, you would think that because of the free characters, these runners will be kind of crisscrossing as they go across. John not going deep into the Watery Pass chest, leaving the hidden waterfall chests behind, so...
Yeah, I guess not wanting to invest the time against a runner like Fleury is now following Fleury into Damsian. Unfortunately, that Edward's not really a big advantage for John, although Fleury will probably head back there. And we have found Sid. Sid is great early game power. He falls off very quickly, but he will get you through a few early game checks.
Yeah, these runners putting some heavy armor on JohnBirckhead's side and that samurai armor, that'll allow Sid to have survivability to go take these early fights, especially if he gets a halfway decent bow and arrow, one of the axes in the seed, or the earth hammer.
Yeah, we do have a poison axe in the front of Watery Pass. We got a mute knife, which will be nice which will let Eddie do something, I guess. I don't know. It's probably going on Rydia for the bonus. And I believe we did get a Thunder Claw in Damsian as well, which is a very nice claw for Yang. It enables Yang to do lots of damage to machines. Of course, it has the Thunder element, which many bosses are weak to. It's all around a great claw to have.
Also notice both those runners picked up a glass hat, which is excellent physical defense. Uh, Again, that'll help with survivability and maybe allow them to be a little bit more aggressive in some of the fights they take.
Yeah, we do see one vanilla character here in Mysidia. We do have Palom and Kane. No white mages yet. And we have one character check left.
Yeah. John did pick up that Edward Fleury. Decided that it was best just leave Edward be and save the time. And we find the Mist Dragon in the back of the Watery Pass.
This is interesting. I don't know about taking this right this second. It's not going to be the fastest fight for John, but it is an extra key item check, so we will want to hold on to that information. And yeah, John is resetting out. He knows where that is now. We're going to go take care of other things, get some power, but we now know that's where our D-Mist is hiding. We don't have to look for it anymore.
Yeah, that is very nice to get that off the table, because, you know, that's always the question.
Oh boy, we have Cecil on the mountain. There is no light mages this seed.
And getting rid of Rydia for now, I would be really looking at that Rydia as, you can learn Asura. Asura is a wonderful healing summon. We need you here.
You'd think that, but you really don't need healing early on, and Rydia really benefits from a slingshot later in the game. So yeah, John's also ditching the Rydia even over Edward. We want to let Rydia sit in the Tower of Wishes, get her set up for a slingshot, which is, if a character is 5 levels behind your median party level, they get double experience. So in a game where you can do a whole grind in one fight, you can double your whole grind on one character, and that is super useful for Rydia because she takes the most experience to be ready for Zeromus.
I think it's an even 1 million experience to get her strongest spell.
Yep. It's almost 100,000 more experience than Palom needs to get to Nuke.
Did want to point out that JohnBirckhead found exits in the Mysidia item shop. That'll be very nice until Cecil can go through this Ordeals check and get promoted, and then get enough experience to learn exit. That will help speed up some of these checks early on.
Yeah, especially this Antlion check that Fleury is doing. You can exit right out of here, and interesting, John's ditching Sid to keep Edward. I'm curious why we're keeping Edward. But okay.
Yeah, might be looking at that mute knife maybe, and the fact that Kane can use the poison axe.
I don't know. I guess it's fine. It's an acceptable choice. Maybe we get a spoon, and John's decision pays off ridiculously hugely. Edward is viable as long as Cecil's in the party, honestly, because Cecil can just cover Edward, and Edward can do all the damage.
Yeah, Edward does with the spoon or the right combination of bow and arrows. Edward does get some pretty decent offensive firepower by the end of the game.
And Mylon goes down for Fleury. John finds the other Mylon on Ordeals. What is Mylon and friends guarding? Here's our darkness crystal. Oh boy, seed's wide open.
Yeah, we do have 2 of our objectives behind that darkness crystal, and conquering the Vanilla Ribbon Room and conquering the Vanilla Masamune altar. So that does put those on the table. Not that this party is quite ready for that just yet, but does.
That's fine. Let's just go grind right now.
Yeah, that glass hat is good, but probably need a little bit more, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we would like Cecil to be a paladin for our grind, ideally. Any experience we put on him in Dark Knight mode is basically wasted.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why John is prioritizing this Ordeals check, because.
Yeah. And John has a light sword that he got out of the chest in Watery Pass, and Fleury never went through that Edward, and that light sword was in that first chest behind him.
Yeah, I did note. I did notice he did pick that up right before he made his exit. So that will be wonderful. Very, very, very good firepower for that Cecil.
Yeah. Uh, Unfortunately, though, with Fleury having the whole world open to him at this point, that demist at Waterfall is probably not getting found. There are just too many things open at this point to ever consider, oh, let's check our early spots for demist, because it's so much more likely you'll just run into demist along the way.
Yeah, about the only thing that would kind of incentivize me to go there at this point would probably be a rat tail or a pink tail, and the hook to go cash that in. Which, those can be anywhere, right? Pretty much anywhere right now, with the fact we've already got the magma key. So
This is a little bit of a rude CPU here at the back attack. Not too many hit points, but we can't really heal ourselves.
yeah, Kane being able to jump and do full damage into the back row will help at least get the damage on the main core. But
Yep, Edward is down. Edward is the least important character, so that's okay. Kane is doing his best. Cecil's also doing his best. Yong is trying really hard, and Palom is just bluffing because anything he casts will be reflected back onto the party.
there is a pink tail on Fleury's side in the free chest and the Fey March. So
Okay, and we do have Cure 3s.
That's something you're excited to see in a party without a white mage.
Yeah, we are very excited to have that without a white mage. And okay, John has taken out the attacker, goes for an Ice 2 that's been bluffed up on the CPU. Kane's in the air already. We are throwing everything at the CPU, trying to get it to go away. Ooh, there's a Globe 199. Palom is gone. And Kane takes the big orb out. We are through.
Nice fight on John's side.
Yeah, little unfortunate that Palom is going to miss out on the experience, but maybe we'll want to slingshot Palom too.
We do have a siren in our starting kit, so that will allow the runners to take a fight to maybe get a quick slingshot, like you said, on Palom. As Fleury checking the king and queen of monsters here in the Fey March and finding Asura at the king spot and a sparkle at the queen spot.
Yeah, and upon checking that sparkle, found out it was Ogopogo and decided that we have better places to be.
Yeah, I don't want to. I would not want to come back here for a long time.
No,
that.
No, we don't need to do that.
But we're picking up cat claws. Those are very nice.
Oh yes, cat claws are Young's best weapon outside of our supersmith weapons. I missed what the reward was from Ordeals, but it doesn't look like it was anything, and we are up against Odin, and we do have that Thunderclaw.
It was an Odin summon before we fight the boss itself.
How fitting. I love it when the summon bosses take their summon orbs with them to whatever check they're at. It's like, here, you can learn Odin.
Yeah, and Odin was just really excited for the runners to learn. So like, here it is. Oh wait, no, we gotta fight. Sorry.
Yep, right. I have to fight you in order for you to keep this. It's just how it goes, you know. Oh, you did 1,000 damage to me. You win.
Good to see Odin there, because that can be a very nasty spot in a lot of different seeds, or nasty fight in a lot of different seeds.
Oh yeah, no, Odin can be really annoying if you can't take it out before he does his whole Zantetsuken attack.
So we do see cabins here as Fleury is doing some shopping and looting in Dwarf Castle. Cabins are, again, going to be very helpful for this party, as are those mute arrows and elven bows, potentially.
Yeah, those are very nice. Lit arrows as well for certain machines that we will maybe be killing later. And it looks like John is ready to go underground.
Yeah, did finish the check the boss's own ordeals, did get the key item check, even though it was just an Odin summon. But the real prize is getting that Cecil to the Paladin class.
Yeah, and now that experience on Cecil won't be wasted, we're ready to go underground. Maybe use up our starting Siren to try and get Palom up to Quake, and then tear through all of the checks on the Overworld.
Fleury taking a walk through the Sylph Cave, gonna talk to Yang here in the bed. Does not have the pan to wake him, but will at least get that set up so he can go talk to Sheila and get the first check from her.
Yep, I'm a big fan of this. Go ahead, get this done. You've got that early Magma Key. Don't wait for the pan to show up. Just go ahead, knock out these 2 checks at least, so you're at least limiting it to a double dip of Fabul.
Yeah, there is the old axiom in free enterprise: do your freebies, do your objectives, and Fleury definitely doing the freebies.
Yep. Our objectives are a little challenging at this point. Ribbon Room and Masa Altar won't be very quick fights, at least until after we've done a grind, so let's do freebies instead. John throwing a bow and arrow on Cecil real quick just to set up the back row glitch. If any character in this game has ever held at any point a long-ranged weapon, all of their weapons become long range. That's how weapons work, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you handed me a bow and arrow once and then you asked me to wield a sword, I could throw that sword and it would come back to me.
I don't know. I'm not that good at ducking. I've never tried.
No, this is fair.
But that will help, especially on Cecil, because that'll allow him to get his full offensive capability and the defensive benefits of being in the back row. So as he covers for the rest of the party, he can still do his usual powerful damage numbers.
Yes. Going ahead, stopping this egg. Oh, that didn't look like a stop, actually. We're just ice 2ing it. Oh dear. We need to get this yellow dragon to stop. Good night, Edward.
Good use of a kamikaze there. Young experience as the hero, so hopefully the jump here from Kane will do it, as Fleury making his way through the Fabul defense, taking on Dr. Luge.
And yeah, jump does it. Oh, we didn't have stop. Palom does get Quake. That's the real goal here. And Cecil gets a nice little slingshot. So he's now properly leveled. Kane gets levels. We got all the levels on the important people. And John's going to be following in Fleury's footsteps, heading through this underground to check these freebies, while Fleury is done with this Fabul defense. Oh boy, a mute knife.
Yeah, not
Didn't we already have one of those?
We did.
Well, now we know what the Dark Knight's legendary weapon was.
Now I did miss what Fleury got off of Sheila 1.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It is a stat knife for the Black Mages. It does have +5 wisdom, which is not bad. Fleury's now headed up Ordeals, which John's already through. John collects his pink tail out of that Feymarch freebie. Did Fleury not check Sheila 1?
That's what our tracker Ryudo is saying.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Maybe forgot. It's fine. We'll just find the pan, and then we can do Sheila 1. When we're doing Sheila 2.
Yeah, we'll see if Fleury remembers, or if that comes into play. Like you said, if we find the pan relatively early, it's a moot point. Look, he'll cash it in and go, why am I getting 2 checks? and then go, oh yeah.
Oh, yes. And it only matters if we don't find the pan early and it has something of value. And
Yeah,
with darkness out of the way, we've got the biggest value gone. And John takes one look at the Asura and the Sparkle and says, I don't need to know what Sparkle that is. I'm leaving.
Yeah, there is a case for just peeking to see what it is, so you know what to expect at other locations. But yeah, it's I don't know.
It's not going to be worth fighting at this point. May as well save that peek for later. Yeah, our runners will be, I think pretty soon our runners will be basically evened out, just with the difference of Fleury having Sid, while John has Edward, both preserving that slingshot on Rydia, and John having a bit more experience on his characters, courtesy of that Siren.
Yeah, John has the knowledge of the D-Mist and hasn't done the Antlion Cave yet, but I got a feeling that that's probably going to be very soon on the to-do list.
Yes. I do want to point out that it is very interesting that our runners had pretty much a reverse of this situation in their previous race, so it's interesting to see both of them course correcting in the opposite direction. It was a similar early Magma Key situation. Fleury popped the Siren and got Palom to Quake. John did not. So both of our runners learning from their mistakes, I guess. But yeah, D-Mist is going to be very quick because we have Quake now.
So John will likely be making a beeline for Mist to go check that and see what's behind what Rydia's mom is holding after we defeated her dragon.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, John can steamroll through basically all the Overworld checks. The only reason he did Ordeals before going underground is just to get that Cecil online, so that he could benefit from the Siren as well.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I really like that decision because, like you said, any experience on Dark Knight Cecil is wasted because it gets lost during the class change. So,
oh boy, Poison X2.
We got a Mac Giant grind. That's the second Poison Axe for it.
I'm being corrected. That's our third Poison Axe. I must have missed one of the Poison Axes. Well, third Poison Axe is not particularly useful unless we're going with a party with Cecil, Kane, and Sid. Yeah, little time save for Fleury there, not finding the D-Mist, but John is tearing into the Antlion Cave as Fleury is headed to the Changing Room Ordeals. So John will be getting his Darkness Crystal shortly. This Mylon and Friends fight will be much faster than Fleury's.
Yeah, just taking out Mylon in one shot. I do like the virus cast out of JohnBirckhead there. It has a faster cast time than Quake, so saving a little bit of time there on that.
Oh yeah, I am always a big fan of folks going for Virus when they know Virus will do the job, because Virus is an instant cast spell, has a pretty quick animation, much faster than Quake or Nuke, which are more popular late game because they do more damage, and well, Quake's great for AoE. Nuke is single target only, but is really great damage. Virus is not going to come close to that. But if Virus is enough, just go for Virus. It's faster. You save a couple seconds on animation time.
Those do add up as someone who's lost by matter of seconds. It's those little things can make a big difference over the course of even an hour and a half long seed.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I think John is at this point just behind by the length of the Fabul defense checks. Which, considering his access to Quake, making all the fights faster, I think he still has a bit of an advantage. Although, trying to check levels on Fleury's side for his Palom. Oh no, his Palom's level 14. Nowhere near Quake.
Yeah, Fleury had kept Palom down for that CPU fight, maybe looking to get a slingshot as on Palom as well as Rydia.
Yeah, it would be very nice, but I think in this case it's a little greedy just because Quake is so powerful. But we see our first piggy of the seed here in the Baron Inn. All of our non-free character checks have been replaced with piggies that need to be rescued.
And our piggy here having dinner with the Fiend of Fire, Rubicante, which I've played Illusion of Gaia. I don't think that's very safe for the pig to be playing with the Fiend of Fire.
No. Goodbye, Fiend of Fire.
Party protecting the pig.
But our pig was actually a whole bunch of dolls in disguise.
And this is where Quake is going to come in very handy for John in a few seconds.
Oh yeah, Quake makes this fight so much faster.
Now, John did check Sheila 1 and looks like got the rat tail out of it.
Yes, we have a rat tail. That's not value yet, but it is access to another check with that hook. And it means that John will be able to turn both those tails in together, whereas Fleury, when he gets the hook, might just go for the pink tail turn in, and then feel bad when he gets the rat tail off of Sheila 1 eventually.
Fleury has wasn't able to get through the 6 small dolls, and they have turned into the Calbrina doll, which is much larger and much more threatening.
Yep, and it's punching, but it's also gone. There's an Earth Crystal. That's very nice for this party. We're going to be able to rate that treasury, see what is in the best area to loot in the game, and it's access to the Tower of Zot, which is less useful. It is a check. It's very long, and the characters that were up there have been replaced with pigs.
Yeah, for those tuning in late, we had the alteration to this flag set with the living bracket is free party, so all of our characters were able to check all the free character spots and get their party in order, but none of the earned character spots have any characters, so yeah, this is just going to be 2 bosses, a long walk, and a single item at the end.
Yep, it looks like John is ready to raise the whale. We might be thinking about doing a grind already.
We do have some pretty good defensive gear. He's got some decent levels on Cecil. I'm pretty sure he saw the Cure 3s in the Fame Arch.
Yep. Fleury's going to show us what's in this treasury. Let's see. Elixir, Alvin, Light Sword, Ninja Sword. Oh, okay, Light Sword parity is achieved. Protect Ring's not bad. Stardust Rod's real nice. The Rune Axe is alright. John, it looks like, is headed to the Tower of Wishes, going to be ditching someone. Who is leaving? For, I assume, Rydia? Yes. John, it is time to get rid of Edward. We're going to take Rydia on our adventure, and I think this is going to be the final party.
Yeah, this is a strong final party in this flag set, and
Yeah.
Fleury's Rydia is going to be a little bit stronger because also finding Leviathan in that treasury.
Yes, I mean, I think John is likely to check out the treasury once he gets the Earth Crystal. The question is, will he go for the Earth Crystal, or are we just going to go for our big grind right now? Looks like we're shopping still.
Might be looking for some ethers to
Yeah, ethers would be very nice for this grind. Cure 2s, perhaps. Yes, please buy your stack of heal potions. Oh, life potions as well are
Yes.
quite essential.
Yeah, both runners picking up that 10-pack of heal potions, which I am definitely in that camp of always good to have.
Yeah, heal potions are just so generally useful for little things. Like they're pretty cheap. They are so useful for specific situations where they're just some bosses that are really annoying without them. And it's like, may as well just pick up a stack. Save yourself the hassle.
So, Fleury looks like he's getting ready to pop
Yeah,
a
Fleury
siren.
is getting ready for his egg. Yep, John, you don't need exits anymore. Cecil learned that.
Looks like John also picking up some more Thor Rages in addition to those Cure 2s. That'll help with the Mac Giant grind to activate the counter script on the Searcher, so...
Yep. Very easy way to guarantee you're not going to kill the Searcher too early. Fleury doing a lot of work to preserve the slingshot on Palin. And it might actually pay off, just because we are getting to this grind so early.
Yeah, Fleury did have enough experience on Palin to get the stop cast on the egg, making that fight a lot safer.
Yeah. And John is headed into Baron Inn. This fight will go very quickly for him. One-shots Rubicant with the advantage of those levels. Rydia's going to get some levels, but that's not enough to bring her out of slingshot range.
Yeah, this is a very low experience reward at this spot, so pretty safe there. And
this Gauls fight is not going to give anything.
Yeah, saving that time of trying to get Rydia down, so well played there.
And just like that, I think our runners have just about done all of the exact same things, except John has completed Demist and turned in Sheila 1. Fleury has looted the Troy treasury.
Yeah, I've got a feeling we might be seeing some dueling Mac Giant grinds here.
Yes. I would very much expect dueling Mac Giant grinds. There's a chance John goes to the treasury right now, but I don't think it's a very high one.
Yeah, John getting the light sword that you'd mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we have the Cecil weapon. We have everything we need. John did skip the Baron item shop, which is a little unfortunate, but...
Was that the one that had the life potions, or...?
It might have been.
Fleury gonna check the Hummingway shop. Might be looking for illusions here.
And John is setting up the turned encounters on. Has reset, is going to be counting steps here to try and manip the Mac Giant fight. And we are getting word that life potions are in the Baron Inn, or Baron shop. So just right there in the first town. Yep, we're going to run away from the fight. And now John's waiting to see, has to burn off a certain number of encounters based on the step chart to guarantee that the Mac Giants will be the next encounter. So we're seeing him take a few extra encounters just to burn them off in the table.
Wondering what... Not sure what Fleury is looking for. Maybe some silk webs as well?
Silk webs would be very nice for the grind. We're buying some Hermes for the grind, which is interesting. But not useless.
Yeah, if you can't find the silk webs on the Overworld...
John is checking the Baron item shop.
There we go.
John has found life potions. Those are very important to the grind because of a glitch known as the life glitch, or the zero vitality glitch. Care to explain what that does?
Sure. All the enemies in Final Fantasy IV have a vitality of 0. Life potions work by based on a multiplier times your vitality. So x times 0 is still 0. So the enemies that are revived, if you can use a life spell or potion on them as they're fading out, will just be revived and go away again, and you'll get double credit for 1 kill.
Yes, tossing life potions at the enemy gives you the extra credit for the kill, which means extra money, extra chance at getting good drops from these enemies. It counts as, a kill for the sake of drops, and most importantly, experience.
Yeah, essentially cutting your grind in half if you're successful.
John, you cannot get encounters on stair tiles.
But does get that searcher to come up, so
We have found our fight.
Oh, is Fleury going back to the Feymarch to get everybody damaged up.
That is a heads-up play there.
Yeah, because Cecil will auto-cover any character that is in the low HP state. So by making sure that everybody else is in the low HP state and using a potion or two on Cecil, he will be more than able to. He will just automatically cover during this Mac Giant fight and keep the rest of the team nice and safe.
Yep, John is taking down this Mac Giant. Down goes the first one. We're throwing the life potion at the Mac Giant. Already getting ready to summon the next one.
We did see Fleury swap out that Sid for the radio. Like you said, Sid, very useful early game, but drops off quite a bit as the game goes on. So going with the much stronger damage output.
Yeah. John also going to be able to take advantage of the stop spell here. Just make sure these Mac Giants can't do anything for a little bit. Although that one wasn't particularly necessary. And making the heads up play to go ahead and leave Rydia on the floor. She doesn't need to help out in this grind. We'll get her back up at the end of the grind so she can get all the experience.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes the most effective use of a character's turn is not to do anything, so. Now, I do have a question. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I do have a question. I know that slow casts on the enemy will in this particular instance will persist on the Mac Giant because it's essentially the same Mac Giant being revived by the searcher every time. Does the stop cast carry over if you do it quickly enough?
Unfortunately, no. Stop timers get removed when an enemy dies and gets revived.
Okay, thank you.
Other statuses will stay around, but the stop is just it just adds a whole bunch of extra time basically to the timer on their ATB, and so that gets reset.
Okay.
Yeah. Slow is a stat modifier, so that gets applied permanently if you were to somehow turn them into a toad or size them or whatever. That would still get applied as well.
Okay.
Fleury has remembered Sheila 1, so we'll not be missing out on that rat tail at least.
Yeah, that's good. You really hate to see a seed decided by just an error like that. So even if it's a little bit extra time to go back and get it, it's good that Fleury's got it in hand in case that hook shows up relatively soon after.
John had Palom down, so missed out on one of the life glitches. That's not the biggest deal in the world. He's in the grind first. And Ooh, and really heads up, using the poison axe as an item to summon the Mac Giant.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that.
It does. You do have to be careful because it does inflict poison on the Searcher. But not the biggest deal. And unfortunately, bringing back that Mac Giant means that that life potion's not gonna work. So yeah, this grind's going a little bit sloppy, not sideways really, just a little sloppy for John. But he's been getting through this relatively quickly, and Fleury hasn't really gotten a huge advantage.
Yeah, Fleury just kind of getting prepared for that fight, and again, getting that Sheila 1 check out of the way. Might be a little bit better, might be in a little bit more efficient of a setup for a little bit more efficiency, excuse me, with that low HP on everyone. But yeah, John doing very well so far with this grind overall, despite missing.
Yeah, and we've already killed 8 Mac Giants and gotten 6 life glitches. We're probably looking at this Mac Giant being the last one.
We do have
maybe one more, but probably not.
We do have 2 lunar objectives on our plate, including the Ribbon Room, which is a lot of experience on the table.
Yeah, we have a lot of experience coming up, and yeah, we're getting Rydia back up. We're gonna go ahead and stop that Searcher. So as Fleury is getting set up to start his Mac Giant grind, John's finishing up.
It will be interesting to see how this how Fleury's setup works. They have a very similar party setup, so we'll see how much more if Fleury can make up any time in this grind. Or
the slingshot on Palom, I think, is Fleury's real big benefit here, and the treasury loot. But that's Rydia to nuke for John. We got 512,000 experience as well, which should get Palom up through the level 3 spells. Palom's got up to Fatal, which means he's only about 6 levels shy.
And remembering the most important part of a giant grind and turning encounters off.
So yes, we don't want to take any more encounters. We're good. We got the experience we wanted. Let's go do other things now. Unfortunately, our moon objectives are at the bottom of the moon, which makes them a little bit less appealing. But at the same time, our underground objectives, our underground options are kind of limited. We've got the Tower Zot on the Overworld, which kind of slow, kind of long. Dwarf Castle, which is nice for Rydia, so we might actually see John go ahead and do that because we would like summons. We've got Keyless Tower, which is kind of gross because the tower key could just be out there, and then we can have a more efficient tower where we get to get 2 checks instead of 1. And then we have that Fame Arch, which is a whole lot of note.
Yeah, I do like going to Dwarf Castle because, like you said, Rydia will get 5-6 random summons from her pool, which can include Bahamut as of the latest version of the randomizer, which would be a very nice power boost as well, even with Nuke in her arsenal.
Yep. Getting Bahamut here as well would basically neutralize the Leviathan that Fleury got out of the treasury. Of course, we can also get Leviathan in Dwarf Castle as another option.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen Asura summons yet either. So
no, and that would be very, very nice because we need healing. And Cure 3s are great, but having Asura is just a little bit extra insurance that we'll survive.
Restreamer Alicel is saying that there were Asuras for sale in Tamra.
Okay. So if our runners know that, they can go ahead and buy those if they really want one.
Yeah.
We do have a karate fight here. I would say that we can wait out for our second kick, and then we'll get through this and it'll be easy and we'll be free and Young will just say ouch, but we also have Nuke.
Nuke is an entirely different way to make this karate fight say ouch.
Yes, Nuke makes him go away. This evil wall also not going to last too long. We should be plenty strong enough to take this on. I did not catch those summons.
The only one I caught was Odin.
Oh boy, you mean the one we already learned on Ordeals?
Odin's just really excited to help out the party. You respect the commitment.
I guess.
We'll have to see if John goes into Rydia's summon menu to see what's new and different there.
Yeah, I expect we'll be taking a little peek if we find a multi-part boss into her summons menu, especially if it's up on the moon.
Yeah, otherwise Nuke will likely be the weapon of choice.
Otherwise, Quake is probably strong enough, yeah.
So what is the latest in Dwarven accessories today?
Weapons for sure not appearing in this seed.
Well, you know, you can sell that Hanzo steel at a pawn shop in Amarillo for $500.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, we have it confirmed. We got Asura, and we got Sylph, which I guess is somewhat okay, and not Leviathan or Bahamut. And John says that's enough underground for now, which, I mean, completely fair. I think it's time to go to the moon.
Yeah, that keyless tower check is a long walk. It is a time commitment. In that regard, the party's strong enough; they'll make relatively short work of the boss. But it's a long walk, and you gotta walk all the way out if it is something you want to keep. So I can fully understand waiting and going for a little bit more of a denser check here.
Yeah, and we have exit on Cecil, so this moon play really isn't that bad. It just feels a little bad to do without the pass.
Yeah, the pass will allow our runners to go to the pub in Troya and take a shortcut to the Zeromas fight as opposed to taking the long walk through the Lunar subterrain. But we've got a lot of things we haven't checked yet, so there's a good chance that they'll stumble upon that on their way.
Yes, there are a whole bunch of things that we haven't checked yet. Our blue planet may not be looking the best, but there are plenty of checks to do on this moon. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and take on the Murasame altar as Fleury is wrapping up his grind. Does have that slingshot done on Palom, is now down Dwarf Castle, but has 2 nuke casters instead of just 1.
Our chat pointing out earlier that Fleury did have the knowledge of that Asura in Tamra, so may forego Dwarf Castle and just take the burden, the summon.
Yeah. Especially with the Leviathan out of the treasury, I don't think we see a Dwarf Castle from Fleury.
Yeah, not unless he's trying to play for a place he thinks that John may or may not have gone.
Yeah, John burning through all of his veils here against this Bahamut.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't really discuss that much when we were talking about the lack of White Mage. We don't have healing, we don't have the Blink summon that protects the runners from melees, and we don't have Wall to protect them against bosses like this that hit very, very hard with high-powered magic.
Yeah, fortunately, the only character we really need to protect in this fight is Palom, to get him keep them up. We might want to buy more, but they are guaranteed available. I'm pretty sure John's seen them in a shop, so we'll get them again. And oh my goodness, there's the Baron key on the Myrrh altar.
Very nice find there. That's 2 more objectives at John's disposal. Do you chase that now, or do you commit to clearing out the rest of this lunar subterranean now?
I am very tempted to bail for that. I think staying up here is the right play, but I am tempted.
Looks like John agrees with that. Not exiting out to avoid the longer cutscene of walking back into the lunar subterranean that Fleury just demonstrated. So going to finish business here on the moon, as Fleury looks like he's going straight to the bottom.
Yeah. We'll miss out on that Baron key at Murasame for now, but John getting that huge value is in a pretty good position. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we take Ribbon Room, we take Masa Altar, and then we dip from the moon and head back for whatever we find here. Because we're now just a couple key items away from go mode. Yeah, because we don't have the pass, I'm more tempted to dive down, just because it was from the top of the moon. And I would love to be able to go tear through that Baron Castle real quick, see if there's any bonus stuff, any chaining stuff down there, and then we can finish with the Masamune Altar, but I don't hate this play either.
Yeah, John does need to get that experience on Palom, so might be prioritizing these checks even without the 10 key items to get the double experience bonus. Should be enough here to get to that nuke.
Oh yeah, Palom is getting very close to nuke. He's not there yet, but he finished the grind just 6 levels short, and each of these fights should be worth at least another level or 2. And is this even randomized? We have a Vanilla Plague here at the White Spear Altar, and Mom Bomb at the Ribbon Room.
Yeah, I think these runners have enough to get through both these fights, and again, John making very excellent use of those kamikazes, so knocking Yang down, doing a nice hunk of damage, and then we'll be able to revive to make sure the plague resets the count.
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and just use up our nukes with Rydia, tearing through Plague's hit points. Plague does not have nearly as many hit points as Mom Bomb.
Mom Bomb gets that bonus, 9,000, so you have a higher chance of seeing the 6 little bomb.
Yeah. It is 9,000 plus like 60% of the spot's HP, so not all the spot's HP goes to Mom Bomb, so I think at this spot it's actually less hit points than it would normally be. And Palom going down for John. We're going to want to get him up at least. Kane getting up would be nice too, but Palom's the one we really want.
Yeah, as Fleury does get through the bomb fight before seeing the explosion, getting an objective on the board.
And there's that pan, so that's double value down here. Palom misses out on the White Spear Altar experience. That's not a huge deal. We get a spoon. A little too late for Eddie, unfortunately, but it is a key item. We'll take it. We'll hold on to it.
Cherish it. But we'll have to hold
on to it. We're up to 7 now.
We don't have an edge to throw it.
No, we are up to 7. If we get to 10, experience does get doubled for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, after that long grind and the fact that most of these lunar bosses these lunar bosses should probably all be done by that point, I don't think it's gonna factor in too much here.
Yeah. John heading into the Ribbon Room, going to take on this Mom Bomb. Fleury is probably going to be taking on that Plague after this Masa Altar, so there's not a huge loss there. And oh, hi, D-Lunars, you moved 1 spot over.
Yeah. D-Lunars are not a fun boss here on the moon.
No, they are not. And this spot, they hurt quite a bit. They got lots of magic, lots of physical attack here. They're just gonna go all out. They have a little less HP than they do in the vanilla location, but not pleasant at all.
Yeah, the upside for Fleury is that Nuke is still going to do large chunks of damage to each of these lunar dragons, so we'll be able to get through this likely before their party-wide breath attack, so that is very positive there.
Yeah, we should be just fine on not having to see breath. Although Riddy is on the floor.
That is a little scary.
Yeah, not what we wanted. One D-Lunar is down, so now we're going to be taking fire counters from the other D-Lunar.
Yeah, but at least avoiding the virus counters by using the Power Punch on Yang and the jump attacks on Kane, since it only does that for the true melee attacks.
And John's Palom has just made it up to weak, so we're now 4 levels away.
Fleury taking a safety Star Veil there on the Kane, just in case we do get to the Breath's Vase, but doesn't need it.
Yep, we have made it through that D-Lunar's fight. John heading in towards that now. Did not heal all the way up to full, which might not be the best for him, but he does have a Sura. And there's a hook. That lets us turn in both of those tails.
Yeah, we'll see if Fleury continues to stay here on the Lunar subterrain. We know that bearing key gates 2 objectives, but if Fleury can find the rest of the key, the Legend Sword, the Adamant Rock, and the package through this, and the Luca key, doesn't need that Baron key, but it's nice to have 2 objectives in hand when you're right here. So we'll see if he commits to more of the Lunar subterranean or goes and chases that.
Yep, and it does look like John did have a few extra Star Veils, so we are busting those out now.
Oh, good.
Going to be reviving our Black Mages because they fell over, and we would like Palom to get experience, please. That would be very nice.
Yeah, my co-commentator here, Felicia, making very, very adamant that John make sure that Palom get this good amount of experience here at the Masamune altar.
Yes, we must make sure that we get all of the experience from the Masamune altar. Fleury is going to be dealing with Plague, not going to be too terribly difficult for him. Oh, John parried with Cecil. That's a big no-no if you want Cecil to cover.
Yeah, that, done that before in the past. That's why you'll see a lot. That's why you're seeing Fleury making sure to use the light sword as a item. But fortunately, getting the reflex off of those Star Veils, getting the breath attack back on the D-Lunars, and we have frogs now.
Yes, these D-Lunars are now completely harmless. Palom and Kane are also completely harmless. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, this would be a good use for 2 of those heal potions they picked up, just to make sure they're not taking turns.
Yep, and Fleury gets his spoon. That felt unnecessary, John, but okay. I don't know what Palom did to deserve that, but that's fine. Fleury's now headed for the Crystal Sword altar, which will be the last altar in the Lunar subterranean that we need to check still.
Yeah, Fleury will still need to go to the Murasame altar, but this will give us full knowledge of the moon. Oh, Lunar subterranean. We still have the Cave Bahamut as well.
Yeah, in John's position here, I'm very tempted to leave the moon behind. I think the safe thing to do is take this Crystal Sword altar real quick and then probably head back to the Blue Planet. With that Baron key in hand and the Rat Tail turn-in and the Pan. Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. John's at leaving.
Yeah, no, that's,
We are 1 key item from Go mode. We have now 5 extra checks on the Blue Planet. And Fleury running into Golbez here at the Crystal Sword Altar, that's a huge time-wasty fight that John is not going to have to deal with.
Yeah, not finding any of the not finding any of the gear, and not really having much of a way of protecting the party from this paralyze either. So the only upside for Fleury is that this spot has very low magic attack. So
Yeah, the spells are not going to do a lot. But yeah, Fleury really needs this to pay off with like the package or the Luca key into something.
yeah, there's really not much else. There's really not much else left as far as the items.
Oh.
We do have both halves of the forge outstanding, but that's only one half of an objective.
Mm-hmm. Turning in our pink tail gets us a white shirt. Cecil, I think, is the only person we have that can equip it on John's side. Fleury's Radia can still equip it because she hasn't grown up yet, and the rat tail is the vanilla adamant.
So that is one half of the forge objective as well. So if that legend sword is behind the Baron checks or the pan turn in, that puts John in a wonderful position.
Yes, John is now any of Legend Sword, Luca Key, or Package for Go mode. And has 2 very quick checks from this pan, and 2 slightly longer but required checks, also required checks in Baron. It is also 10 key items for John, which means that John will get double experience out of the Baron checks and anything else he decides to fight for the rest of the seed. He does still kind of need Palom to get nuke.
Yeah, I didn't quite get to that bit, so that 10 key items could make a difference. The Baron experience isn't bad for where it's at in the game.
Yeah, I don't know if that Palom has Meteor. There's a tower key for Fleury, which is potentially just a rabbit hole for him, but it does make that lower Babel a little more attractive. And it is an extra key item. Fleury's exiting, that's what you do at this point. Even if he's going to the Murasame altar, it's much faster to just exit out and then head back inside. But Fleury is leaving. Oh my goodness.
This could be the turning point of the match here.
Yeah. And it makes sense in his position. He's got the pan to turn in. He's got that tower key, which opens up both halves of tower really efficiently. He's got the hook to turn in the rat tail. He's got a lot of stuff going for him. It's just not going to lead to the Baron key. And that's the package from the Sheila turning, so John's in go mode.
That top of tower play paying off huge for JohnBirckhead.
Yeah, top of moon, top down moon, sure, paying off really big. Oh, just do your Murasame altar, folks. It's right there, just do it. I mean, you could say this really about any check.
Go where the items are. Don't go where
the items are.
It's easy game.
John going to go ahead and start working on knocking these objectives out. Gonna go ahead and do the package cutscene because it gives a full heal. Won't have to worry about healing up from the damage tiles in Sylph Cave. Then going to head into Baron, I expect, and take care of those 2 objectives.
Yeah, very good use of that mechanic here. You get a lot of full heals in the early game from the various fights and checks, and good to utilize them to save the time on a cabin.
Yeah. Fleury's headed over to turn this pan in. We'll get the package, and then just needs Luca Key into Legend Sword behind Tower Key, and to also do a Tower Key only. Because in order to skip that Baron key, Fleury needs everything else.
Yeah, we still have...
So we need to have Luca Key and Legend Sword show up real quick.
Yeah, we do have a lot of checks outstanding here. So there are... it is a low probability of occurring. It can certainly happen, but We do have a lot of things we haven't seen yet. Where that
Yeah, we have an outstanding Tower of Zot. We have an outstanding Fey March. We have Cave Bahamut outstanding. Baron Castle can also have checks, and if Baron is gating either the Legend Sword or the Luca Key, Fleury's in real big trouble.
Yeah.
Fleury's going to find Demist, though.
Unfortunately, not going to be the help that he's looking for, but
No.
at least doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, at least this is one thing that's off of his plate. But, Rydia. Come on, Rydia. Do better.
Yeah, not getting the tiara for on that Rydia. Definitely showing that wisdom growth there.
Yeah, it's not very good. Okay, John's Palom is level 49. So we still need quite a bit of experience to get Nuke on for John. So John might have to do a little bit of a grind still at the end of this seed to get that second Nuke online, if he wants it. Which with this party, I would want it.
Yeah, you're not gonna get the full power. You're not gonna be able to zerk up anybody on any of your melee attackers. You don't really have great weapons for anybody. The light sword being the best one.
I mean, speaking of not having weapons, you could just take on a monster box on the way down the Lunar subterrain and just get a crystal sword and experience.
Those behemoth chests are pretty good.
Oh yeah. We do have a wyvern here. Wyvern is not very effective.
Yeah, this would have been scary. This would have been much scarier early on.
Yeah. Post moon, not particularly scary. John is setting up to be ready for Golbez just in case. We know that Golbez is at the Crystal Sword altar, but John does not know that.
Yeah, I do like that because, the wyvern fight not very threatening to this party, but you don't want to have to take the long walk and do it all again. So.
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter if those characters are piggied, because being piggies doesn't prevent them from doing anything useful, really. Oh no, Cecil can't cast his white magic, and I guess Young can't power punch. That's slightly annoying.
Yeah, the power punch being a little bit more of a downer than the lack of Cure 2 and the 400 HP healing there.
Yeah, and this spot's not really punchy enough to be a huge threat, so we're just gonna go at it with Quake and our regular attacks, and Lygan's not gonna have a particularly good day.
Was already having a bad day, hiding from his post, hanging out in the basement here, and then,
And then we show up. And just start doing so much damage. So rude.
Yeah, you can see the damage output from that Kane swinging the poison axe. We didn't see a dwarf axe to back row glitch Kane, so not doing a whole lot of damage from that spot without jumping.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised we haven't taken the time to just swap Kane and Palom real quick. John was setting up to use Bygon's wall that Bygon gave him to reflect a virus over, but didn't get it off in time. The fight's over. There's the Luca key. Oh no. That's really, really bad.
Yeah, that means that the path to victory is behind that Baron key.
Yeah. That is so bad for Fleury. John is many, many minutes ahead and does not realize it. At this point, with Fleury going tower, yeah, John has a clear shot to the end, even without that grind. Fleury is going to have a lot of catching up to do to go back to the Murasame altar.
Now, as we see the dark imps at their regular post here in the Super Cannon room. When do you go back to that Murasame altar?
In Fleury's position, I think it's really tough to go back there. Now that you've bailed on the moon, you kind of have to commit to that, and that means you're going to clear the Fey March. You might even do Zot before heading back to the moon.
Yeah, that was my that would be what that would be kind of my thought process as well. You know, you've made a conscious decision to leave Cave Bahamut and Murasame Altar behind.
In my mind, those are the last two things that are going to happen.
Fleury is going to do the top of tower as well. Makes perfect sense. You know, you're here. You're never going to come back here. You've got more than one key item away from go mode, so it's not worth the gamble of skipping it.
Yep. Let's just go ahead and clear this out. John shows us that the Twin Harp is also here in Baron. So I guess we're not seeing music this seed.
Yeah, not an objective. We are in go mode on John's side, and Fleury will be in go mode by the time he gets here as well, so yeah.
Yeah, John's got Cure 3s. John's got an Asura summon. We're fine. The only thing left to do is get Palom Nuke.
Which again, there are Bahamuts that are in static locations that we can turn on at the in Cave Bahamut. Like you said, go open up monster boxes until we find a fight we're looking for. Which I do like that play a lot, because then it potentially gives an item as well. And hey, there is the Legend Sword at the top of tower.
Okay, that's something for Fleury. So Murasame only gated 3 objectives. Yeah, this seed is not quite over. John does need to get the levels for Nuke. Well, would like to get the levels for Nuke. I guess it's not strictly required. And does still need to beat Zeromus.
Yeah, you know, John has Asura, so he does have a powerful party heal that works 66 and 2/3% of the time. Does have Cure 3s to help keep people going.
We're taking random encounters. Hey, it's Gold Dragons.
Yeah.
We got weak on both Palom and Rydia, so this is a very easy just throw weak out. John, just weak both of them. Or Nuke, I guess, but I think the weak is better.
Just an Artemis bow from that tower key check for Fleury. Is Fleury going to do the dwarf castle check that John has done?
Oh right, he hasn't done dwarf either. Oh my goodness.
Which makes sense. It's on the way to
it's
the Cocol's Forge to cash into that objective.
Absolutely, so. And it's, you know, you may as well clear this check out. You're not in go mode. There's some levels across the board. That is enough for Palom to have Nuke. Encounters going right back off. John is ready.
Yep. So, making the long walk down the Lunar subterrain, getting ready for that Zeromus fight. Likely going to be doing some equipment shuffling and preparation to make sure the party's set up to his liking.
Getting closer and closer to this final fight. Fleury is making progress through this dwarf castle. Knocking out another check at least. Eventually Fleury will run out of checks to do.
Yeah, you know, may wrap up the Fey March while he's here, since, you know, that way he never has to return to the underground. May just have the hunch of hunches to go and check out Murasame. That would be the best thing right now.
That would be the best thing. It would still put him quite a bit behind because he'd still have to do at least part of Baron. Though could just skip the basement and go for the main check and then be done with that.
Yeah, that would be the upside there, saving a few seconds there.
But John is done equipping, done setting up. John is heading down to the bottom of the Lunar subterrain. We did see 4 key items from what Fleury saw on the moon. This moon was just loaded, apparently.
Yeah,
I think because the only one that wasn't a key item was the one chest in the ribbon room.
Yeah, that was just a crystal gauntlet, so...
Yeah, but there was a key item on White Spear, 1 key item in the ribbon room, a key item on Masa Altar, and a key item on Crystal Sword Altar. So skipping Murasame absolutely makes sense statistically. It was just wrong in this seed.
And Scythe Marshall in chat pointing out King Giat spoiling where the answer for Fleury.
Yeah, he's telling you where to go. He says, here's a Murasame, go there. But no, Fleury's going up Zot, and John is heading into Zeromus.
So, Xenocat, this is the time where we usually ask some sort of question of the comment to each other.
Yeah, I am starting to see some of those questions in chat. And what might that question be? Because I think it looks like it's nap time.
Oh, I certainly hope so, because I had a very late night. But no.
Early morning for me here. I would love to sleep.
But no, unfortunately, no sleep until we find out whose butt we're going to kick tonight, with all apologies to the Beastie Boys.
Oh, hello, Strong Bus.
As every millennial is just suddenly just smiling a little bit, seeing the person that irreversibly warped all of our senses of humor.
I do want to bring up the fact that we have some color changing pigs over here on Fleury's side. We have that pig, which is gray because of the evil wall sprite that was at Dwarf 2, and we're going to find out it's going to change colors once we go through the door. Oh, okay, just white ears. That's a red boss. Anyway, John's fight's going great. We had a counter nuke because we direct casted one of those nukes. We decided to... We healed up Bridia with the Cure 3, we're doing damage, we're having fun. Everything's going well.
Yep, using reflect strats, just bouncing those nukes back off of the walls onto Strong Bus to avoid the counter nukes, and...
Antlion got a little lost. Antlion's not in his home place of the moon. Sorry, Antlion. This is the Tower of Zot. You're in the wrong place.
Yeah, being in front of that nuke is certainly the wrong place for anything at this point in time.
That is very true. Strongman seems to be holding up just fine. For now.
Well, when you're a big, strong dude, you're. Busting out the 20-year-old strong bad impressions that were all the rage back in the day.
See, I am just young enough that Strong Bad was like the first thing that I got introduced to on the internet.
Oh, wow.
It was a wild time being like a 6-year-old. Getting introduced to this as my first impression of the internet at large.
Oh. as a college student that time, that just my hip hurts.
I was not quite too young for this. I had an older brother who showed it to me. It was like a bookmark in like our browser tab, our browser for forever. It was great.
It has certainly left a permanent bookmark in all of our hearts. But unfortunately,
Yes.
this party is not so sentimental. I don't think John has thrown a single attack from Kane, Yang, or Cecil on.
There was
Strong.
a couple early on, but nope, not. He was holding back, and that is a new sprite, new text box, not going away. That is GG's to John, finishing this race in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 4 seconds. So GG's to John. We'll see about getting him in here for an interview.
And that does mean that...
Oh dear, high Valvalis at cave value.
Ugh.
And we are now joined by John. GG's.
GG's, and GG's to Fleury, of course.
Yeah, no, really solid opening route. I do want to ask, why Eddie?
Just a bit of a brain fart. I had I don't know. It was I don't know. I did this in game
fine.
1 too. It's like I don't say brain fog situation, but
I mean,
I think for a hot second I thought he was the hero. Maybe I don't know.
it's
a long
fine.
day at work,
I was
man.
like, at least it was the other option was Sid and not someone actually good.
Wow, I'm gonna sorry, Elvin. Yeah.
Sorry, Elvin.
I mean, the reality is I didn't have any gear, right? Like,
Yes.
I had one poison axe.
There was no gear. Eventually, the seed decided to give you like 3 poison axes.
Yeah, that's true, including one from a very sacrificial mist. But
Yes.
yeah, that was just I just wasn't thinking straight up.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I knew why not Rydia, but.
So, the turning point of the seed was your decision to do the Murasame altar first and get the Baron key. Was that your plan all along? Was to do top of the lunar subterranean, work your way down, or was there anything that pushed you in that direction as opposed to chasing the 2 objectives at the bottom?
Just a density checks kind of situation. Like you're there, and also the more XP you can get to get Paladin closer to, I think I might have died in that check actually, but the more XP you can theoretically get on Paladin, getting closer to Nuke, the better. I did Dwarf because I wanted a shot at Asura in case things got real sideways, because obviously no White Mage. And then the key item wise was a bust, but Asura was there, which I never ended up even using, but that's neither here nor there. And then I was tempted just to go to the bottom, when you're racing the flurries of the worlds, you can't do everything and win. Like, you have to choose your fades, right?
Yes.
Zot was a intentional fade because it's a long check, and Crystal Sword and Cave Bahamut, once I had stuff to do on the blue planet, that was a pretty easy fade to make. But so you got to make your fades, right?
Yes.
So I had decided that Zot was going to be my fade, and with a relatively early treasury, it was tempting, but what's the gear really going to do at that point?
I will say there was a Stardust Rod and a Leviathan in that treasury.
Well, that would have been nice. That definitely would have been, maybe that saves me a cycle or two.
There was also, I think the only other thing of note was a Protect Ring, so yeah, not a lot of gear.
Yeah, I mean, on T-Pro, that's to be expected.
No.
And even if you spike like an Avenger, for Z, we're doing Reflect strats. So
yeah,
it's like,
it
how much
doesn't
time really
matter
save?
that much, really.
Yeah. So yeah, once I went to the moon, I was debating in my head for a while, maybe just go to the bottom and be really, really aggressive. But I had already made a few fades on Blue Planet. It's already pretty aggressive to go to the moon, because these aren't terminal key items, right? Like Forge is obviously, Luca key's not, Baron key's not,
Yeah, Luca key's not,
Pan's
Baron
not.
key's not, Ham's not. There's a whole bunch of chains.
So it's already an aggressive move to go there, but there's 2 objectives. So it's a mix of like K main versus do your objectives, and that's kind of the middle ground I decided to go on.
And it worked out for you. I will say you were not behind coming out of your Mac Giant grind. You got through Dwarf Castle and were on the moon before Fleury was.
That's surprising. The one thing that felt good, because I've had, like my loss to Kyrios, that run felt good, and Kyrios is just Kyrios, right? and I've had a couple of wins where I haven't really loved my play. And I certainly didn't like the way I played in game one, and you know you can't do that. But the Ordeals bid that I did, I felt pretty good about that. 'Cause that was a little tricky, right? CPU, no
Yes.
healing, you got to be in a you got to be in a hurry. And so when I got Paladin Cecil online quickly, and not just Paladin Cecil online, but some tier 2 spells, and now that I'm cracking the egg, now I'm not just getting Paladin to Quake, but I'm also slinging Cecil. That felt good. So it's not very often I feel ahead, and I don't know that I felt ahead. I might have for a hot second until I saw that darkness was an antlion. I was like,
what were we gonna do with darkness before you got experience anyway, or before you got some experience anyway?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, maybe a little more efficient with the shopping for life pots and silk webs if you can find them, etc. But the way that I was able to go ahead and get through Ordeals felt pretty good. Same with the egg using the kamikaze on Yang, that felt good too. So I felt okay, and then when I hit Baron at Mura, I felt all right. But man, until you actually until you're like done, like you don't really feel great.
Oh, for sure. No, it was, you were kind of going back and forth on checks in the early game. That early Ordeals meant that you got through that egg first, and Fleury cleared, I think, most of the overworld without Quake, which slowed him down a little bit because he waited for Stop on Paladin to do the egg.
Got it.
And then he had a moment of forgetting to do Sheila 1, but it was fine. He got it. We got there. But yeah, all that meant that you were on your last Mac Giant when he entered the Mac Giant grind fight.
Okay. Well, good. That's a nice little confidence booster moving forward.
But yeah, no, this seed, I mean, kind of ended up working out really well for you. I mean, not that you're not a good runner, you were already in a great position, and then the Baron key dropped into your lap, and it was smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, when you have, I've seen a couple of these, right? There's a couple of these that you roll where it's like you have Rat Tail, Pink Tail, and Falcon, and now everything's revolving around the hook. Like, where's the hook? And everything revolves around one key item. And in a seed like this, where it's like Baron key and the bottom, I mean, sure, it's 6 out of 8. You can do everything else. But, we say rando's gonna rando. Yeah. When you've got objectives like this, rando's really gonna rando. I mean, wherever whoever finds the Baron key first with a seed like this is gonna win. So, there's definitely a lot more
unless
luck.
Unless it's another objective, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because CLK was behind the basement. That's right. So, with a seed like this, it's really, I mean, you have to execute, of course, but luck plays a really huge part in it, and and I got lucky.
Yeah. No, it worked out really well for you.
Yeah, and you certainly played well enough to take advantage of that good fortune. I was gonna comment that earlier Ordeals play, you handled those fights very well.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt pretty good about it. To try to time the hits and then the reflect and then cane in the air. So that I don't often feel really good about these things, but that one felt pretty good.
Well, I think unless you have any final thoughts about the seed, I think we'll let you go ahead and get going and enjoy.
Appreciate that.
Your spot in the round of 8.
Yes, congratulations on advancing.
Thank you. It's I didn't really think I'd be getting here, but I'm very happy to. Just want to say again, GG's to Fleury, just an incredible runner. Looks like Rodeo's doing tracking and Ali's doing restream. I'm very much looking forward to both of you, your commentary. Thanks for people everyone watching, and y'all have a wonderful night.
Have a good night.
Thank you, and GG.
GG's.
And while we were interviewing our lovely winner, John, Fleury has cleared a whole bunch of checks, found that Baron key, went ahead, did the basement, is now doing the main throne, and now has access to every single objective in this game.
And yeah, we'll be getting that 6th objective done once they check the trash can here, and we'll get the crystal. cashing in the forge at the coal shop, which I do understand. You had to do both Baron objectives anyway. It takes a long time to walk out, um, so I can understand just taking the two and going from there.
Yeah, it makes sense. But wow, we have found pretty much every key item on Fleury's side.
I was say I think the only thing unaccounted for is the sand ruby, and pass is not counted as a key item, but we still
I
haven't seen
think
that.
I don't. Was Sanderby from Cave Value and we just reset out of it? It might have been.
Possibly.
Yeah, this was. Fleury has cleared almost everything in this seed, but is going to be headed to Zeromus now. Has tons of levels. Okay, not Cave Value. So Sanderby is still unaccounted for.
Yeah, and as quickly as John was able to make work of Strongbus, Fleury has even more experience from the extra checks and should be making even shorter work of our beloved internet
Yes,
icon.
we've gotten so many levels. We are so ready to just absolutely destroy this Zeromus.
Yeah, John commenting, was understandably keeping an eye on the healing situation, making sure to get Asura from that the dwarf castle check. Ultimately, did not need it because he was just doing just so much damage just with two characters casting nuke.
Yeah, it's going to be two nukes, maybe some extra damage from some other characters early on, but they're going to be holding back because if we do direct damage to Zeromus in this fight beyond a certain point, it will trigger his refill script, which will advance the phase and refill all his hit points, and we don't want to do that.
No, anybody who's made that mistake definitely never wants to repeat that again.
Yeah, we would like to only deal with 61,000 hit points and not basically 108,000 hit points or whatever it is.
Especially since Roma starts using the black hole attacks to dispel those walls on our casters, which can make for a very unfortunate result on those targeted nukes on your own party.
Yeah, absolutely. We ideally don't want to see any of those.
Fleury doing the preparations for the Z fight, lowering the battle speed to make it a little more time to menu, and we'll be making the walk down to the final fight.
Yep, we are making our way down through the Lunar Palace, approaching the Zeromus fight. Fleury may have been a little bit farther behind, but cleared so much of the seed. And we'll be taking it all the way to the end.
Yeah, not going to be the result he was hoping for, but still, finishing out strong. And again, it was a case of just making a conscious decision not to do the Murasame altar, and 3 objectives ended up being behind it, and that just happens in a randomizer.
Indeed, and it was a very reasonable decision.
Yeah, the Mac Giant grind in particular was very efficient. He may have entered it later than John did, but I think got the full benefit out of it with the life glitches and a little bit faster time, I think.
Yeah, it worked out very well for him. Going ahead into this final fight, using that crystal Here's our strong bad. We're gonna go ahead and start setting up that Star Veil, throwing out nukes. First nuke was a little too early. We whiffed that one. That's okay.
Yep. Getting the crystal queued up to do a direct attack on Strongbus that will lower his magic attack power for the counter nuke, and then before the first Big Bang, he will not raise it back up, so making the Big Bang attack much safer.
Indeed. He has to manually set his magic stat for these nukes so that they don't do ridiculous amounts of damage, and then will usually reset his magic stat back up, but he doesn't do that for the first Big Bang, because why would he think to do that? But every other Big Bang, Zemus will reset his magic stat a little bit before the Big Bang to make sure that it's the correct magic stat for the Big Bang. However, if you manage to time an attack that would trigger that nuke counter, he'll set it for the nuke counter. If the Big Bang's already in the queue, he doesn't have time to reset it before the Big Bang happens.
That's one of those.
So we can end up taking a lot less damage from these Big Bangs.
Yeah, that's one of those skills that once you get good at it, will make these seeds a lot easier, a lot more manageable in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and it helps that the very first one is so easy to pull off because Zemus just doesn't check his magic stat until after the first Big Bang at all.
Yeah, a little bit of overconfidence going into effect.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need to worry about if my Big Bang is full powered. I'm just gonna do my thing and lower my magic stat for these nukes.
But yeah, Young and Kane chipping in, using those Cure 3s to keep everybody topped off. Cecil as well. Plenty of magic points to keep throwing these nukes even after the first two were a little early and before Strongbus could take damage.
Yep. But we are definitely getting all these nukes off. We're staying healed.
You see the extra damage rolls that Stardust Rod on Rydia is giving her.
Yeah, Rydia is actually competent at using the nuke spell because of that Stardust Rod. It still does damage without the Stardust Rod, but it does a lot more damage with the Stardust Rod.
Yeah. It's still going to be the strongest spell she's got, and also you don't want to use those powerful summons on Strongbus because then you get a full party nuke that raises the magic attack power.
Yes,
that nuke does do.
Full party virus, and there we go. Fleury has finished with an official time of 1:35:48. So GG's to Fleury. We'll see about getting him in here for an interview, and it looks like we're now joined by Fleury. GG's.
GG.
Oh, I muted him. Oh, okay, good.
So, any thoughts about that seed other than the one item that was hiding in the one spot?
Yeah, this one hurts. I wanted this one. So didn't want it to come down to a point where I make a bad decision, lose by 15 minutes. Because I went, oh dang it, 20 times in a row, and that's exactly what I did. So
Yeah.
it stinks, but that's the way the game goes. So, I'm going to benefit from it sometimes, and it's going to get me sometimes. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and the bottom of the moon had so many key items on it. I absolutely do not blame you for bailing on that last moon check, because what are the odds that the moon has 5 key items?
I mean, the odds of it even being in the pool are
It's
12.5 or 25%, one of the two.
I'm trying to remember the math on it. I think it's 12 and a half sounds right.
Yeah. So, well, now I have to ask. Um, we both went, I assume, from grind directly to the moon, right?
John actually went to do dwarf first to try and get a big spell summon on Rydia and ended up getting a Sura from there, which wasn't particularly useful, but did
Right.
go to dwarf first and then headed to the moon.
Okay, so I was gonna ask if I was ahead on the Crystal Sword altar clear, because my tracker has me finishing it at sub-hour. So I kind of think if I keep going,
I
it's at
think
least
you
close.
and John exited out of the moon at the same time, but John faded the Crystal Sword altar.
Okay, so
So John did Mura and then the bottom 3 and skipped Crystal Sword. And you left at the same time, I believe. John was up about the length of the grind.
all right. So I kind of figured if I go Mura after Crystal Sword altar, it's finish about 20 minutes. Like I even if I lose in that situation, and you know it's a close execution fight, like something like
Yes.
game 2.
Oh, for
Totally
sure.
fine with that. So
Yeah, it would have been a very close execution fight for sure. And I think really the big advantage John did is he went up Ordeals like right away.
yeah, I thought about it after seeing character 5, and I was like, I could probably do this right now.
Yeah.
But and again, tempted me with early Quake.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like
The
to think I
early
learned
Quake
my
was
lesson this
super
time.
helpful.
Yeah, we get a whole bunch of bosses that you sure
Yeah,
would have
it's
liked.
like, here's Mylon and friends.
Yeah, and then
Here's
dolls and Baronet.
dolls.
Yeah,
All
that's
those
how that
things,
goes.
yeah. No, there's a whole bunch of just things that showed up that were like, here's something that's really nice for early Quake. It was truly just one of those situations where it's like a couple of routing decisions that aren't wrong in the moment, but just happen to be wrong for this seed.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's why we enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
Sometimes things like that happen. So.
And I mean, you did get the slingshot on Palom, which John did not.
Yeah, this time.
Yeah. John had to take an extra fight to get Palom to nuke.
Yeah, I was pretty careful about that this time around with one siren. The grind, it wasn't my best one, that's for sure. I thought the damage would be a little better between Kanan and Yang, but I still got I think 4 doubles.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a bad grind for you. Wasn't paying super close attention to the times on it, but John had a little bit of a rough grind.
Yeah, I tend to get try to get pretty safe and cozy. Like, it was a bummer that there were no illusions in any shop. That would have
yeah.
It was a little
no
faster.
Illusions.
But...
I don't think there were silk webs anywhere.
Nope, didn't see them either.
No, I don't think we saw them. There were Hermes, which was cool, I guess.
Yeah. At the one character you want to use it is probably not getting a turn in any way, shape, or form that's efficient to do it. So sorry, level 1 Rydia, you're just gonna take turns.
No.
So you alluded to it earlier. Your decision not to go and get that siren or that early Quake on Palom was a gameplay decision that you were making.
Yeah, with that immediate darkness crystal, yeah. Because usually when I get an early magma key with Palom, I want to get at least a stop, so I'll take the first couple fights, and then from there cast stop and get Quake and get going. But darkness crystal is like, all right, I need to get Palom to stop, and then I need to get Cecil online, and then I need to just grind and not mess around. So yeah, that was because I didn't think I had nearly as many fights as I was going to take. On the other hand, with the Darkness Crystal appearing so early, that was why I decided to keep Palom down.
Yeah, no, that very much makes sense knowing that you have a slingshot available. Getting that slingshot is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
If only there weren't so many bosses that were really annoying without Quake.
That's true.
Well, this does unfortunately wrap up your run in ZZ6. What are your thoughts on the tournament? Oh, your tournament experience?
I mean, ultimately disappointed just because I had such a difficult group and went 4-1, and then just
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, your
bracket
group
match
was.
that takes care of that. So, it was fun. Like, I'm very happy with the flags that everybody cooked up with. I think we've had some pretty good matches. I've definitely managed to entertain a few people with my wheel spins. I'll be looking forward to maybe doing that a couple times in the future. But yeah, overall, very happy with how this turned out. And excited to see where we go. Where we go from here. I know I'm gonna now that now that the time is a little more free, a lot more entrance rando, a lot more start to put together the details on a side tournament for that, which will probably be beginning at 25, depending on a couple of answers from a couple of people. Hope I can somehow manage to get 16 people interested in it, and yeah, that's probably what's on the plate next. But yeah, like, this is gonna be a bummer for tonight, and then I'll wake up tomorrow and the weather will still be nice, and I'll be happy again.
Fair enough. I believe, unless you have any final thoughts or any other questions for Roddy Sniper.
No, I just want to say again, GG. Very well run seed. Just unfortunately, not the outcome you were hoping for, but excellently run seed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very happy to see the volunteer turnout we've had so far. Really appreciate you all. One day we'll learn our lesson to not do a whole chunk of matches all the time, but we haven't learned it yet. Sorry, Allie. So yeah, like the way folks have come through to volunteer the way they can has been really nice to see, and hopefully it keeps on going. And yeah, we'll get some really good matches in the future rounds. Looking forward to that.
Absolutely. GG's once again. But I
Yep.
think that will do it for our stream here. I have been Xenocat, joined in the booth by Roddy Sniper. Our restreamer tonight has been Alicel. Our tracker tonight has been Ryudo. And thanks all for watching. Take care, folks.
Have a good evening.